When Elon Musk walked into Tesla headquarters at 6 in the morning, he never expected what was about to happen. His own office door was locked from the inside, and he could hear voices. His entire executive team was in there. Without him, for 9 minutes, the man who built Tesla from nothing stood in the hallway, waiting, outside his own office. Employees walked by and stared. Whispers spread through the building. Something was very wrong. Elon's hands formed fists. His heart pounded. These weren't just employees. They were family. People he trusted with everything. People he'd given chances to when no one else would. And now they'd locked him out. Inside, he heard them arguing. "We have to tell him," one voice said. "Not yet," another answered. "What if he doesn't understand?" a third voice asked. "Then we've already lost everything." Lost everything? What were they talking about? What were they doing in his office? Elon made a decision right there in that hallway. The moment that door opened, he would say 3 words. "You're all fired." Every single one of them. But when the door finally opened, what Elon discovered wasn't betrayal. It was something he never saw coming. Something that would change Tesla forever. Something that would teach him the most important lesson of his life. One of his executives wasn't in that room, and that person had been destroying Tesla for 8 months, using Elon's trust as a weapon, planning to steal everything. But who was it? And how did the 5 people in that office discover the truth? Why did they lock Elon out to save his company? And what happened when the real traitor showed up at 7:30 that morning? Watch this entire video to find out what really happened that day, to discover which executive betrayed Elon, to learn how 5 people risked everything to save Tesla, and to see what true loyalty really looks like. This is the story of the morning that changed everything. The morning Elon Musk learned that sometimes the people who lock you out are the ones fighting hardest to protect you. Let's begin. The sun hadn't risen yet when Elon Musk walked through the glass doors of Tesla headquarters. His shoes made soft sounds on the marble floor. The building was quiet. Most people wouldn't arrive for another 2 hours. This was his favorite time of day. Elon loved these early morning hours when he could think clearly. When he could walk through the halls of the company he built and feel proud. When he could stand in his office and look at the city waking up below. He carried a cup of coffee in one hand. His phone buzzed in his pocket, but he ignored it. Emails could wait 5 minutes. The elevator doors opened on the executive floor. Elon stepped out and walked down the familiar hallway. Pictures of Tesla cars hung on the walls. The first Roadster, the Model S, the Model 3. Each one represented years of his life, years of hard work, years of believing in something everyone said was impossible. He smiled as he walked past the conference room. In 6 hours, he'd meet with his executive team there. They'd talk about the new factory, about production numbers, about the future they were building together. But first, he needed quiet time in his office. Elon reached his door and stopped. It was closed. That was strange. He never closed his office door when he left. The cleaning crew knew to leave it open. It was a small thing, but it mattered to him. An open door meant anyone could walk in. Anyone could share an idea. It meant he wasn't hiding behind walls and titles. He reached for the handle and turned it. Locked. Elon's eyebrows came together. He tried again, pushing harder. The door didn't move. Then he heard something that made his blood run cold. Voices. Multiple voices, coming from inside his office. He pressed his ear against the door. Yes, definitely voices, low and urgent, like people having a serious conversation, like people who didn't want to be heard. Elon's heart started beating faster. He recognized those voices. Ramona Chen, his chief operating officer, the single mother he'd promoted from director to COO because she was brilliant, because she saw solutions where others saw problems. Dr. Victor Hale, his chief technology officer, the engineer who everyone else said thought too big. Elon had given him unlimited resources and told him to dream bigger. Henry DeVille, his chief financial officer, the man who left Wall Street to help save the planet, who Elon trusted with every dollar the company spent. Sienna Lockhart, his head of manufacturing, the factory worker he'd sent to engineering school, who now ran all production. Julian Cross, his head of design, the artist who made electric cars beautiful, who made people want to drive the future. His entire executive team, in his office, at 6 in the morning, with the door locked, without him. Elon knocked on the door, firm, 3 times. The voices stopped immediately. Silence, then footsteps approaching the door. Elon's jaw tightened. He waited. A voice came through the door, Ramona's voice, but it sounded different, stressed, maybe even scared. "Mr. Musk?" "Yes," Elon said. His voice was calm, but inside, questions exploded like fireworks. "Why is my office locked?" Another pause. He heard whispers, people talking fast. Then Ramona again. "Mr. Musk, we need 10 more minutes. Please wait." Wait outside his own office? Elon stood there, phone in one pocket, office keys in the other, staring at his own door, the door with his name on it, the door to the office where he'd made the decisions that built Tesla, the door that was now locked against him. 10 minutes, he repeated slowly. "Yes, sir. Please. We'll explain everything. Just, please wait." Elon opened his mouth to say no, to demand they open the door right now, to remind them whose office this was, whose company this was. But something stopped him, the tone in Ramona's voice. Not defiant, not rude, but desperate, almost begging. "Fine," Elon said quietly. 10 minutes. He stepped back from the door. He heard the voices start again, urgent, worried, but he couldn't make out the words anymore. Elon checked his watch. 6:08 a.m. He'd give them until 6:18, then he'd get security, then he'd open that door himself. Then he'd find out why 5 people he trusted with everything had locked him out of his own office. Other employees started arriving. They walked past, did double takes, seeing their CEO standing in the hallway, outside his own office, waiting. Some looked confused. Some looked away quickly. None asked questions. Smart. Because right now, Elon didn't have answers. He just had anger and hurt and a feeling deep in his chest that felt like betrayal. The people inside that office were more than employees. They were family. He'd given them everything. Opportunities, trust, second chances, belief when no one else believed. And this is how they repaid him? Elon's hands formed fists at his sides. 6:10 a.m. 8 more minutes. Then he'd find out what was worth locking him out of his own office. And then he decided, watching the second hand tick on his watch, he'd fire them. Every single one. The thought echoed in Elon's mind as he stood in that hallway. But as anger burned in his chest, memories came flooding back. Memories of how he got here, of why this hurt so much. Elon wasn't always a billionaire. He wasn't always famous. He wasn't always the man who changed the world. He was once just a boy with a dream, a boy in South Africa who loved reading books about space and the future, a boy who drew pictures of electric cars in his notebooks when he should have been doing homework, a boy who believed things could be better. His mother, May, found him one night at the kitchen table. He was 10 years old. Papers covered with drawings surrounded him. Cars with sleek designs. Cars that didn't need gasoline. Cars from the future. "What are you doing, Elon?" she asked. "Designing the future," he said simply. Most mothers would have laughed, would have told him to go to bed, would have said that little boys don't design the future. But May sat down next to him. She looked at every drawing. She asked questions. She listened. Then she said something Elon never forgot. "If you can dream it, you can build it. But dreams require work, more work than most people are willing to do." "Are you willing?" 10-year-old Elon looked up at his mother. "Yes." "Then never stop dreaming and never stop working." The years that followed were hard. Elon moved to America with almost nothing. He worked terrible jobs. He ate terribly. He slept in his office because he couldn't afford rent and office space. People laughed at his ideas. "Electric cars, they'll never work. They're too expensive. Nobody wants them. You'll lose everything. It's impossible." But Elon remembered his mother's words. He remembered those childhood drawings. He remembered believing that the future could be better. So he kept working. He started Tesla in 2003. Not alone, he had partners, people who believed. People like Garrett Wolf, his college roommate who invested his life savings, people who saw the same dream. But belief doesn't pay bills. The early years almost destroyed him. Tesla burned through money faster than they made it. Every prototype cost a fortune. Every test revealed new problems. Every day brought new people saying, "I told you so." Elon missed his children's birthdays because he was solving engineering problems. He missed holidays because production deadlines couldn't wait. He missed sleep because the company was dying and he was the only one who could save it. There were nights he slept on the factory floor, not because he wanted to, because he had to. Because if he went home, he'd lose precious hours. Hours the company didn't have. His personal money ran out. His savings disappeared. He borrowed. He begged. He put everything on the line. Friends told him to quit. "You've done enough, Elon. Walk away. Declare bankruptcy. Start something easier." But Elon thought about that 10-year-old boy drawing cars at the kitchen table. He thought about his mother saying, "If you can dream it, you can build it." He thought about the future, the real future, where children could breathe clean air, where cars didn't poison the planet, where technology saved the world instead of destroying it. So he didn't quit. He worked harder. He hired people smarter than himself, people who believed in impossible things, people who wanted to change the world more than they wanted easy paychecks. People like Ramona, Victor, Henry, Sienna, and Julian. The day the first Tesla Model S rolled off the production line, Elon stood in the factory and cried. Not sad tears, happy tears. Because that car represented everything, every sacrifice, every missed birthday, every night sleeping on concrete floors, every person who said it couldn't be done. That car was proof that dreams become real through work. He'd built something impossible, but he hadn't built it alone. He'd built it with people who believed, people who sacrificed their own time, their own money, their own easier lives to chase this crazy dream with him. People became his family, not just co-workers, not just employees, family. That's what made Tesla special. Not the cars, not the technology, not the stock price, the people. Elon had a philosophy about hiring. He told it to everyone who joined Tesla. "I don't hire people to tell me what I can't do. The world is full of people who will tell you your dreams are impossible. I hire people to make the impossible possible. I hire people who look at a problem and see a challenge, not a wall. I hire people who care about something bigger than themselves." He lived by those words. When he interviewed Ramona, he saw genius in 5 minutes. A single mother everyone else rejected because she had gaps in her resume, because she'd taken time off for her twins. Elon didn't care about gaps. He cared about brilliance. When Victor lost his job for thinking too big, Elon gave him unlimited resources and said, "Think bigger." When Henry wanted to leave Wall Street, Elon showed him how making money and saving the planet weren't opposites. When Sienna was just a factory worker with ideas, Elon sent her to engineering school, paid for everything, believed in her. When Julian thought art didn't matter in business, Elon told him, "Beautiful things change the world." He'd given these people everything: opportunities, trust, resources, belief. He'd treated them like family because they were family. Now, standing outside his locked office, those memories made everything worse. Because family doesn't lock you out. Family doesn't meet in secret. Family doesn't betray you. Elon checked his watch again. 6:14 a.m. 4 more minutes until he opened that door. 4 more minutes until he fired the people he'd given everything to. 4 more minutes until he proved that his mother was wrong about one thing. You can build dreams, but you can't always trust the people who help you build them. The anger came back, stronger now, because he'd sacrificed everything to build Tesla. His time, his money, his family life, his health, and the 5 people in that office. They'd been part of that sacrifice, part of that dream, part of that family, which made whatever they were doing in there, whatever required locking him out, the deepest betrayal of all. Elon's jaw set hard. 6:16 a.m., 2 more minutes. Then he'd end this, all of it. But even as Elon made that decision, more memories pushed through his anger. Memories of the 5 people behind that door. Memories of who they really were, or who he thought they were. Ramona Chen. Elon remembered the day he hired her like it was yesterday. She'd walked into his office 7 years ago wearing a suit that was too big. Borrowed, he'd guessed. Her resume showed gaps. 2 years here, a year there. Periods of unemployment. Most CEOs would have ended the interview in 5 minutes. Elon asked one question. Tell me about the hardest problem you've ever solved. Ramona's eyes had filled with tears. Raising twin daughters alone while my husband was dying. Keeping them fed, clothed, and happy while watching the love of my life fade away. Working 3 jobs, sleeping 4 hours a night. Never letting my girls see me break. That's not a business problem, Elon had said quietly. No, Ramona agreed. It's harder. Business problems have solutions. Grief doesn't. But I learned something. When you can't quit, you find ways forward that don't exist yet. You create solutions from nothing. Isn't that what Tesla does? Elon hired her on the spot. Within a year, she was director of operations. Within 3, chief operating officer. Her twin daughters, Maya and Luna, now 16, called him Uncle Elon. They wanted to be engineers because of Tesla, because their mother showed them that impossible wasn't real. Last Christmas, Ramona had hugged him and whispered, "You saved my life. You gave me hope when I had none." Now she was the voice telling him to wait outside his own office. Dr. Victor Hale. Victor's story was different, but equally painful. He'd been fired from his previous job for unrealistic proposals. He'd wanted to revolutionize battery technology. His bosses said it was impossible, too expensive, too risky. They let him go. Victor had been unemployed for 8 months when Elon found him, living in a tiny apartment. His brilliant mind wasted because other companies wanted safe, not revolutionary. Elon's offer was simple. Come to Tesla, no limits, no one telling you what's impossible. Just results. Victor had stared at him. You're serious? I don't joke about changing the world. Victor accepted. Within 2 years, he'd improved Tesla's battery range by 40%. His innovations became industry standard. But Elon remembered something else about Victor. Victor's father had been dying. Cancer. Stage 4. The old man's final wish was to see his son's work. To sit in an electric car his brilliant boy had helped create. Victor had called Elon crying. He has 2 weeks, maybe less, but the new model won't be ready for 3 months. I just wanted you to know I'll be taking time off, to be with him. What's your father's address? Elon had asked. Why? Just tell me. 2 days later, Elon personally drove a prototype Model S to Victor's father's house. Not a production model, a prototype worth millions. He let the dying man sit in it, explained every feature, let him feel the future his son was building. Victor's father died 3 days later with a smile on his face. Victor never forgot that. Neither did Elon. Henry DeVille. Henry had everything on Wall Street. Money, success, a corner office overlooking Manhattan. But he'd called Elon one day out of nowhere. I make rich people richer, Henry had said. I'm good at it. But my daughter asked me yesterday what I do. I told her I move money around. She asked, does that help people? I didn't have an answer. What do you want? Elon had asked. To make money and save the planet. Is that possible? At Tesla, it's required. Henry took a 60% pay cut to join. His Wall Street friends called him crazy, but his daughter Sophie, now 12, wrote a school essay titled, My Dad the Hero. It was about how her father left an easy job to fight climate change. Henry framed that essay, hung it in his office. Best trade I ever made, he told Elon once. Wall Street gave me money. Tesla gave me purpose. Sienna Lockhart. Sienna's story was Elon's favorite. She'd started as a factory worker, assembly line, long hours, hard work. But she had ideas, better ways to organize production, faster assembly methods, innovations that could save time and money. Most companies ignore factory workers' ideas. Elon didn't. He'd been walking the factory floor one day when Sienna stopped him. Mr. Musk, I have an idea about the battery installation process. She was nervous, scared, just a worker talking to the CEO. Elon listened, really listened. Her idea was brilliant. Have you studied engineering? He asked. No, sir. I couldn't afford college. You can now. Tesla will pay. Full scholarship. You'll work and study. When you graduate, you'll run this factory. Sienna had cried. Actually broke down crying on the factory floor. 4 years later, she graduated top of her class. Elon promoted her to head of manufacturing. She now oversaw the same factory floor where she'd once worked the assembly line. You saw potential everyone else missed, she'd told him at her promotion party. You changed my life. Julian Cross. Julian was different, an artist in a world of engineers. He designed cars for other companies. Beautiful designs that never got built because they were too bold or too expensive or too different. Julian had been ready to quit the auto industry entirely when Elon called. I've seen your work, Elon said. It's art. Art doesn't sell cars, Julian replied bitterly. Wrong. Art changes how people see the world. Tesla doesn't make transportation. We make the future. The future should be beautiful. Julian came to Tesla and designed vehicles that became iconic. Cars people lined up to buy, not just because they were electric, but because they were gorgeous. You made me believe art matters, Julian once said. That beauty changes things. These were the 5 people in his office. Not strangers, not random employees, family, people he'd saved, people who'd saved Tesla, people connected by something deeper than paychecks. They'd celebrated victories together, weathered crises together, built dreams together, late-night strategy sessions where they'd ordered pizza and planned the future. Victory parties when production goals were met, quiet moments when someone needed support and everyone else showed up. That's what made this so painful, because family doesn't lock you out. Family doesn't meet in secret. Unless, Elon's mind raced through possibilities. Were they quitting? All of them at once? Starting a competitor? Were they selling company secrets? Were they planning a coup? Trying to remove him as CEO? Each possibility felt like a knife. 6:17 a.m., 1 more minute. Elon's hand moved to his phone. One call to security and this would be over. But his finger hesitated over the button. Because part of him, a small, quiet part, still believed. Still believed in Ramona's integrity. Still believed in Victor's loyalty. Still believed in Henry's honor. Still believed in Sienna's gratitude. Still believed in Julian's dedication. Still believed they were family. That part of him whispered, wait, trust. There must be an explanation. But the louder part, the hurt part, the betrayed part, roared back. They locked you out. They met in secret. They're probably destroying evidence right now. 6:18 a.m. Time was up. Elon raised his fist to pound on the door, to demand entry, to end this, to fire them all. His fist was 6 inches from the wood when his phone buzzed. An email from an unknown sender. The subject line made him freeze. Read before you open that door. Elon's fist hung in the air. His heart pounded. Who sent this? His finger tapped the email. It opened. The message was short. Check your desk drawer, bottom left, before you do anything else. That was it. No signature, no explanation. Elon looked at the sender, an email address he didn't recognize. A random string of numbers and letters. He checked the timestamp. 3:47 a.m. This email was sent 3 hours ago, hours before he arrived at the office, hours before he found his door locked. Someone knew this would happen, knew he'd be standing in this hallway, knew he'd be angry. But who? Elon's mind spun, the bottom left drawer of his desk. He'd been using that desk for 3 years. What could be in there that he didn't know about? Unless someone put something there recently, unless this was part of whatever was happening in his office right now. His phone buzzed again. Another email, same unknown sender. They're not your enemies. Trust what you built. Trust what you built. The words echoed in his mind. He'd built Tesla on trust, on believing in people, on giving chances when others wouldn't. But trust was a two-way street, and right now 5 people were behind his locked door, meeting without him, keeping secrets. That wasn't trust. That was betrayal. Elon deleted both emails. Whoever sent them was probably part of this, probably trying to confuse him, distract him. He wouldn't fall for it. 6:19 a.m. He raised his fist again to knock, to demand they open the door immediately, but voices from inside stopped him. Ramona's voice, sharp and stressed. "We have to tell him." Elon pressed his ear against the door. Henry responded, "Not yet. We need to be sure." "Sure about what?" Victor's voice. "We've checked everything 3 times. "Exactly," Henry said. 3 times. We need 4, 5. This has to be perfect. Sienna's voice cut through. "What if he doesn't understand? What if he'll understand?" That was Julian. "He has to. We've worked too hard for this." Ramona again, almost pleading. "But what if we're wrong? What if—" "Then we've already lost everything," Victor said quietly. Silence. Elon's blood ran cold. Lost everything? What did that mean? His hands shook as he stepped back from the door. The conversation continued inside, too muffled now to hear clearly. But he'd heard enough. They were hiding something. Something big. Something they weren't sure he'd understand. Something they might be wrong about. And if they were wrong, they'd lose everything. Elon's assistant, Priya, stepped off the elevator. She was early, as always. Efficient. Organized. She carried coffee and her tablet. She saw Elon standing in the hallway and froze. "Mr. Musk?" Her eyes went to his closed office door, then back to him. Confusion crossed her face. "Is everything... Are you locked out?" "It's fine, Priya," Elon said. His voice was cold, controlled. "Should I call security or get the master key?" "No, I'm waiting." "Waiting?" She looked even more confused. "For what?" "For them to finish whatever they're doing in my office." Priya's eyes widened. She understood immediately. The entire executive team, meeting without the CEO, in his office with the door locked. "Sir, I can..." "Just go to your desk, Priya. This doesn't concern you." She hesitated, then nodded. She walked away quickly, glancing back once. Elon knew what she was thinking, what everyone would think. The CEO locked out of his own office by his own team. Humiliation burned through him. More employees arrived. They saw him standing there. Some pretended not to notice. Others stared, then looked away quickly. Whispers followed. "Is that Mr. Musk? Why is he in the hallway? Is his office locked? What's happening?" Elon's jaw clenched tighter. Each whisper, each stare, each moment of standing here made the betrayal worse. These 5 people weren't just keeping secrets. They were humiliating him, making him look weak in front of his own employees. The man who built Tesla, the man who changed the world, the man who never gave up, standing in a hallway, outside his own office, waiting like some visitor who needed permission to enter. 6:22 a.m., 12 minutes now since he arrived. 12 minutes of waiting, of wondering, of feeling betrayed. 12 minutes too long. His phone felt heavy in his pocket. One call. That's all it would take. Security would come. They'd open the door. They'd escort Ramona, Victor, Henry, Sienna, and Julian out of the building. This nightmare would end. Inside the office, the voices grew louder, more urgent. He heard Victor clearly. "It's time. We can't wait any longer." Ramona. "Agreed. We have everything we need. Let's do this." The sound of chairs moving, papers rustling, footsteps. They were getting ready. Ready for what? Elon's decision crystallized like ice in his chest. The moment that door opened, he'd say 3 words. "You're all fired." No explanation needed. No discussion. No second chances. They'd made their choice when they locked him out, when they met in secret, when they decided whatever they were doing was more important than loyalty. Now he'd make his choice. He'd fire them. Every single one. Ramona, who called him Uncle Elon. Victor, whose father died happy because of Elon's kindness. Henry, who left Wall Street to work with him. Sienna, who he sent to college. Julian, who he taught that art mattered. All of them. Gone. Because betrayal had consequences. Because trust, once broken, couldn't be repaired. Because he'd built Tesla on loyalty, and they'd just proven they had none. 6:24 a.m. Inside, he heard more movement. Closer to the door now. Victor's voice. "Ready?" Multiple voices. "Ready." Ramona. "Okay, let's tell him." Footsteps approaching the door. Elon took a breath. His hands formed fists at his sides. His heart pounded so hard he could feel it in his throat. The lock clicked. The handle turned. The door began to open. Elon's mouth opened, ready to deliver the words that would end everything. "You're all..." But what he saw stopped him cold. Ramona stood in the doorway. Her eyes were red. She'd been crying. Her hair was messy. She looked exhausted. Behind her, the others looked the same. Exhausted, stressed, terrified. And his office. Papers everywhere. Laptops open on every surface. Whiteboards covered in diagrams and notes. Coffee cups scattered around. The room looked like a war zone. "Elon," Ramona said. Her voice cracked. "We found it." "Found what?" The anger in his voice was clear. She took a shaky breath. "The sabotage." The word hung in the air between them like smoke. Sabotage. Everything Elon had been about to say died on his lips. "What are you talking about?" Victor stepped forward. His face was pale. "We found someone sabotaging Tesla. From the inside." "For months," Henry added quietly. "Sienna, we've been working for 3 days to gather proof." "Julian, we couldn't tell you until we were sure." Ramona's eyes filled with tears again. "We locked ourselves in your office because it was the only secure place. The only place the saboteur couldn't monitor." Elon stared at them, at their exhausted faces, at his office transformed into an investigation center, at the proof scattered everywhere. "Show me," he said. "Everything." Elon stepped into his office. The 5 executives moved aside to let him pass. He looked around slowly, taking it all in. His desk was covered with spreadsheets, numbers highlighted in yellow and red. His whiteboard, usually clean, was filled with timelines and names, arrows connecting dates to events. 3 laptops sat open on his conference table. Each screen showed different documents. Financial reports, manufacturing logs, design files, empty coffee cups everywhere, a pizza box in the corner. His couch had blankets on it. Someone had slept there. This wasn't a quick meeting. This was days of work. "Start talking," Elon said. Ramona stepped forward first. She picked up a folder from his desk. 3 days ago, Henry noticed something in our financial reports." Henry nodded. "Small discrepancies, money disappearing in amounts too small to trigger alarms. A few thousand here, a few thousand there, spread across multiple accounts." "How much total?" Elon asked. "Over $2 million in the last 6 months." Elon's eyes narrowed. $2 million? "But that's not the worst part," Victor said. He pulled up something on one of the laptops. "I found problems in our manufacturing logs, parts failing that should never fail. Batteries with shorter range than they should have. Quality control issues that didn't make sense." Sienna added, "I went back through 6 months of production data. The pattern was clear once we looked. Someone was causing failures, making small changes to our processes. Enough to create problems, but not enough to be obvious." "And the design files," Julian said quietly. He showed Elon a split screen. 2 versions of the same car design, side by side. "Look at the brake specifications. Left side is the original file. Right side is what got sent to manufacturing. See the difference?" Elon leaned closer. The numbers were almost identical. Almost. But the right side showed slightly smaller brake components. Not enough to fail immediately, but enough to cause problems over time. "Someone altered the files?" Elon asked. "Yes, and they did it carefully. The changes were small enough that most people wouldn't notice. But over time, with thousands of cars, those small changes become big problems." Elon felt sick. "How many cars?" "We caught it before production," Julian said quickly. "But if we hadn't..." He didn't need to finish. Elon understood. Faulty brakes in thousands of Tesla cars. The recalls, the lawsuits, the deaths, his company, his dream, his life's work. Almost destroyed. "Who?" Elon's voice was sharp. "Who did this?" The 5 executives looked at each other. "That's what we've been trying to figure out," Ramona said. "We've been in here for 72 hours, analyzing everything, checking every access log, every approval code, every digital fingerprint. And..." Before anyone could answer, Elon's phone buzzed. He almost ignored it. But something made him look. Another email, same unknown sender. The subject line, Bottom left drawer, now. Elon stared at his phone. The emails. He'd forgotten about them in the shock of what he was seeing. What is it? Ramona asked. I've been getting emails, Elon said slowly, from someone I don't know, telling me to check my desk drawer. Bottom left. The room went silent. When did they start? Victor asked carefully. First one was sent at 3:47 this morning, before I even got here. Henry's face went pale. Someone knew what we were doing. Or someone is part of it, Sienna said. Elon walked to his desk, the bottom left drawer. He'd barely used it in 3 years. Just some old papers, office supplies, nothing important. He pulled the drawer open. At first it looked normal. Pens, notepads, paper clips. Then he saw the envelope. Plain white, sealed, no name on it, but it was sitting on top of everything else, recently placed. Elon picked it up. His hands were steady, but his heart raced. What is it? Julian asked. I don't know. Elon opened the envelope. Inside was a single piece of paper, handwritten. He pulled it out and read. His face changed, color drained, his jaw clenched. Elon, Ramona took a step closer. What does it say? He looked up at them, at the 5 people who'd worked 72 hours straight, who'd locked themselves in his office, who'd risked everything to find the truth. It says, Elon's voice was barely a whisper, that the saboteur is one of us. The room froze. One of us, Victor repeated. That's impossible. We've all been working together. 6 of us, Elon said, looking at each of them. There are 6 people on the executive team. He paused. 5 are in this room. Understanding crashed over them like a wave. Ramona's hand flew to her mouth. Henry closed his eyes. Sienna sat down hard in a chair. Julian swore quietly. Victor's voice was hollow. Garrett. The name hung in the air like poison. Garrett Wolf, the 6th executive. Garrett Wolf, Elon's college roommate, his oldest friend at Tesla, the man who believed in him when no one else did, the man who wasn't in this room. No, Elon said. The word came out sharp, final. Not Garrett, you're wrong. Elon, Ramona started. I said no. His voice rose. Garrett has been with me from the beginning. Before Tesla, before any of this. He invested his life savings when everyone else said I was crazy. Victor stepped forward carefully. That's why we didn't want to tell you until we were absolutely certain. That's why we've been in here for 3 days, checking and rechecking everything. Then you made a mistake. Elon's hands shook. Your evidence is wrong. Your analysis is wrong. Garrett would never... Look at this. Henry pulled up a screen. Financial transfers. Every suspicious transaction has Garrett's approval code. Codes can be stolen, Elon shot back. Look at the timestamps, Henry continued quietly. Every transfer happened when Garrett was logged into the system, when he was physically in the building, when no one else had access to his computer. Coincidence? Elon, please. Sienna's voice was gentle. Look at the manufacturing changes. Every alteration to our processes was approved by Garrett. Every single one. He's head of strategic partnerships, Elon said. He approves lots of things. Not manufacturing processes, Sienna said. That's not his department. He had no reason to approve any of these changes. But he did, using override codes. Julian brought up the design files again. The altered brake specifications? Garrett's digital signature is on the file. Time-stamped. Verified. Elon stared at the screen. At Garrett's name. At the timestamp showing when the file was changed. 2:17 a.m., 4 months ago. Someone is framing him, Elon said, but his voice was weaker now. We thought that too, Victor said, so we checked the security footage. He pulled up a video on one of the laptops. Grainy footage from a hallway camera. Timestamp. 2:15 a.m., 4 months ago. A man walked down the empty hallway, unlocked an office. Went inside. The video quality wasn't perfect, but Elon recognized him immediately. Garrett, Victor fast-forwarded. 2:43 a.m. Garrett exited the office, locked the door, walked away. That's the night the brake files were altered, Victor said quietly. From that specific computer. During those specific minutes, Elon's chest felt tight, like someone was squeezing his heart. There has to be an explanation. Ramona handed him another folder. There are emails, Elon. We found them buried in archive servers from Garrett's account. Show me. She opened the folder. Inside were printed emails. The first one made Elon's stomach drop. To, email protected. From, email protected. Subject, winter testing. The battery modifications are in place. Range will drop 15% in cold weather. Winter testing will show failures. Stock will drop. That's when you buy. Elon read it 3 times. His hands shook. It could be fake, he said, but he didn't believe it anymore. The second email was worse. To, email protected. From our email protected. Subject, timeline. Musk trusts me completely. He'll never suspect. By the time he figures it out, we'll control 30% of the company. Then we make our move. Elon sat down hard. The paper fell from his hands. Garrett, his friend, his brother, his partner from the very beginning, planning a takeover, using Elon's trust as a weapon. How long? Elon's voice was barely a whisper. How long has this been going on? At least 8 months, Henry said. Maybe longer. The earliest suspicious activity we found was last May. 8 months. 8 months of betrayal. 8 months of sabotage. 8 months of pretending to be a friend while destroying everything from the inside. Memories flooded Elon's mind. Garrett in college, pulling all-nighters together, talking about changing the world, making promises about the future. Garrett investing his life savings in the early days of Tesla. Standing beside Elon when the company was dying, saying, I believe in you, I believe in this. Garrett at his wedding, at his children's births, at celebrations and crises. Garrett working late nights beside him, solving problems, building dreams. How much of it was real? How much was a lie? The note in the drawer, Elon said. What did it say exactly? Ramona picked it up and read aloud. By the time you read this, they will have told you everything. The saboteur is Garrett Wolf. He is planning to arrive at 7:30 a.m., as he does every Tuesday. When he arrives, you will have a choice. Confront him with evidence or let him keep destroying what you built. Choose wisely, a friend. Who wrote this? Elon asked. We don't know, Victor said. But whoever it is knew what we'd find. Knew we'd be in here. Knew you'd be locked out. Knew everything. They're trying to help, Julian said. Or trying to frame Garrett, Elon countered weakly. But even as he said it, he knew it wasn't true. The evidence was overwhelming. The pattern was clear. The betrayal was real. Garrett Wolf, his oldest friend, his brother in all but blood, was destroying Tesla, was destroying him. Elon checked his watch. 6:47 a.m. 43 minutes until Garrett arrived. 43 minutes to decide what to do. Confront him? Fire him? Call the police? His phone buzzed again. Another email from the unknown sender. Trust your family. The 5 people in that room worked 72 hours to save what you built. Garrett worked 8 months to destroy it. Choose your family. Elon looked up at Ramona, Victor, Henry, Sienna, and Julian. Exhausted, terrified, loyal. They'd locked him out to protect him, to gather evidence before the saboteur knew they were investigating. They'd risked his anger, his trust, their jobs, for Tesla, for the mission, for him. That was family. Garrett was just someone he used to know. Show me everything, Elon said, his voice hard as steel. Every email, every transaction, every piece of evidence. I want to know exactly what he did. And when he gets here? Ramona asked quietly. Elon's eyes were cold. When he gets here, I'm going to fire him. But I've been consolidating some of these. Let me check what I've actually written. When he gets here, I'm going to fire him. The words hung in the air. Final. Unforgiving. Ramona nodded slowly. We'll show you everything. For the next 30 minutes, they walked Elon through the evidence. Piece by piece, document by document. Each one a knife in his heart. Victor started with the technical sabotage. Look at this manufacturing code. He pulled up lines of programming on his laptop. This controls our battery assembly process. See this section here? Elon leaned in. He'd written some of this code himself years ago. This variable controls temperature regulation during assembly, Victor continued. It should be set to 22 degrees Celsius. But look, the number showed 24. 2 degrees doesn't sound like much, Victor said. But over thousands of batteries, it creates micro failures. The batteries work fine at first, but after 6 months, a year, they start degrading faster than they should. How many cars? Elon asked. We caught it before it affected production. But if we hadn't, Victor's voice trailed off. 50,000 cars would have had battery problems within 2 years. 50,000 families, 50,000 people who trusted Tesla, who believed in the mission, all betrayed because Garrett changed one number in a code. Henry showed him the financial trail next. The money didn't just disappear, Henry explained. It went somewhere. We tracked it through 6 different shell companies, all leading back to an investment group called Titan Holdings. I've never heard of them, Elon said. Neither had we. So we dug deeper. Henry pulled up corporate documents. Titan Holdings was created 8 months ago. 3 partners. Want to guess who one of them is? Elon's jaw tightened. Garrett. Garrett, Henry confirmed, using his middle name and his wife's maiden name. But it's him. We verified through banking records. What was his plan? Create problems, make Tesla look unstable, tank the stock price. Then Titan Holdings buys up shares cheap. Once they control enough of the company, they force you out. Take over. Elon felt sick. He was going to steal Tesla. He was going to steal everything, Henry said quietly. Sienna showed him the manufacturing sabotage. Document after document. Small changes to processes. Tweaks to quality control. Adjustments to supply chains. Each change individually was tiny. Insignificant. Together they were devastating. He was brilliant about it, Sienna said, and she sounded almost impressed despite her anger. He never made big changes, nothing that would trigger alarms, just small problems that would add up over time. Slower production, higher costs, more defects. Eventually it would look like Tesla was failing, Julian added. And no one would know it was sabotage, Elon finished. They'd just think we couldn't compete anymore. Exactly. Julian pulled up the design files last. This one hurt the most to find, Julian said, because these were my designs, my work, and he corrupted them. He showed Elon side-by-side comparisons. Original designs next to altered versions, brake systems made slightly weaker, aerodynamics made slightly less efficient, safety features made slightly less safe. None of it would cause immediate failures, Julian explained. But over time, Tesla's reputation would suffer. Cars wouldn't perform as well as they should. Safety ratings would drop. Customer satisfaction would fall. Death by 1,000 cuts, Elon said. Yes. Then Ramona showed him the emails. The damning, horrible emails. There were dozens, sent over months, to investors, to competitors, to unknown contacts. Elon read them one by one, each worse than the last. Elon is too trusting. He'll never see this coming. By the time he does, it'll be too late. Production problems will be blamed on his management. The board will lose confidence. That's when we make our move. I've been with him since college. He thinks of me as a brother. That's his weakness. That last one broke something inside Elon. His weakness, his trust, his loyalty, his belief in friendship. Garrett had used it all as a weapon. There's more, Ramona said quietly. She pulled up one final email. 2. Email protected. From. Email protected. Date. 2 weeks ago. Subject final phase. Everything is in place. The battery failures will become public in the next quarter. Stock will crash. Elon will be desperate. That's when we offered to save the company. He'll have no choice but to accept our terms. Tesla will be ours by spring. Elon read it twice, 3 times. Spring. That was 3 months away. 3 months until Garrett would have destroyed everything. Would have taken Tesla, the dream, the mission, everything Elon had sacrificed for. How did you find all this? Elon asked. His voice was hollow. Henry noticed the financial problems first, Ramona explained. Small amounts missing. He started investigating, found patterns. Brought it to me. I noticed the manufacturing issues, Sienna said. Parts failing that shouldn't. I mentioned it to Victor. I found the code changes, Victor added. At first I thought it was an error. Then I saw the pattern, the timing. It was too consistent to be accidents. We all started comparing notes 3 days ago, Julian said. That's when we realized it was all connected, all pointing to the same person. Why didn't you tell me immediately? Elon asked. The 5 of them exchanged looks. Because the person it pointed to was Garrett, Ramona said softly. Your oldest friend. We knew you wouldn't believe us without overwhelming proof. We knew we had to be absolutely certain. So you locked yourselves in my office. It was the only secure place, Victor said. Garrett monitors everything, emails, messages, meeting room cameras. But your office? We knew he couldn't access it without you knowing. So you made me wait outside. We're sorry, Ramona's eyes filled with tears. We knew how it would look. We knew you'd be angry. But we needed 9 more minutes to verify the final piece of evidence. The email about the final phase. We just found it. Elon looked at them. Really looked at them. Ramona with dark circles under her eyes from 3 days without sleep. Victor pale and exhausted from checking code for 72 hours straight. Henry, tie loosened, shirt wrinkled, from tracking money through endless records. Sienna still in yesterday's clothes, having slept on his couch while analyzing manufacturing data. Julian, hands stained with whiteboard marker from diagramming evidence. They'd sacrificed everything. Sleep, comfort, his trust, to save Tesla, to save him. Thank you, Elon said quietly. They looked surprised. For what? Ramona asked. For caring enough to do this. For being brave enough to investigate even when it meant investigating someone I loved. For risking everything. He checked his watch. 7:15 a.m., 15 minutes until Garrett arrived. What do we do when he gets here? Julian asked. Elon's face hardened. We show him everything, every email, every document, every piece of evidence, and then I fire him. Should we call the police? Henry asked. After, Elon said. First, I want to look him in the eye. I want him to know that I know, that we all know, that his plan failed. He'll deny it, Sienna said. Let him try. Elon walked to the window. The sun was rising over the city. Another day beginning, another chance to change the world. But first, he had to protect it from the person he trusted most. The words echoed in Elon's mind as he stared out the window. The city below was waking up, cars moving, people starting their days, normal lives. Nothing felt normal anymore. We should prepare, Ramona said behind him. Garrett will be here in 12 minutes. We need to decide exactly how to do this. Elon turned from the window. There's no script for this, no playbook for confronting your oldest friend about destroying everything you built together. But we need a plan, Victor said. Garrett is smart. He'll have excuses ready. He'll try to talk his way out. Let him try, Elon said coldly. Henry organized the evidence on the conference table. Documents in neat piles, laptops positioned so screens were visible, everything ready to present. Should we all be here? Sienna asked. Or just you, Elon? Elon considered. Part of him wanted to face Garrett alone. This betrayal was personal. A friendship shattered. A brotherhood broken. But another part knew the truth. This wasn't just about him. You all stay, he decided. You found the evidence. You did the work. You deserve to be here. Julian nodded. What if he gets violent? Garrett, Elon shook his head. He's not violent. He's calculating. He'll try to manipulate, to explain, to make us doubt. Will it work? Sienna asked quietly. Elon met her eyes. 3 hours ago, yes. Before I saw the evidence, Garrett could have convinced me the sky was green. That's what 20 years of friendship buys you. Trust, blind trust. He paused. But not anymore. I've seen the emails, the transfers, the sabotage. The proof is undeniable. Ramona checked her phone. 7:22, 8 minutes. 8 minutes until Garrett Wolfe walked through that door. 8 minutes until a friendship died. Elon sat in his chair. His office looked like a war zone. Papers everywhere. Laptops. Evidence. The aftermath of 3 days of investigation. He thought about college, about meeting Garrett freshman year. They'd been roommates by chance, strangers assigned to the same dorm room, but they'd become brothers by choice. Late nights talking about the future, about changing the world, about building things that mattered. Garrett had been the first person to believe in Elon's crazy ideas. When everyone else said electric cars were impossible, Garrett said, "Let's prove them wrong." When Elon decided to start Tesla, Garrett invested everything. His savings, his time, his belief. "We'll do this together," Garrett had said. "Partners, brothers, until the end." Until the end. Elon hadn't known the end would come like this. "Elon?" Ramona's voice was gentle. "Are you okay?" "No," he said honestly. "I'm not." How could he be okay? His oldest friend had betrayed him, had spent 8 months destroying everything they built together, had used their friendship as cover for sabotage. "I keep thinking about the early days," Elon said, "when we almost went bankrupt, when everyone said to quit. Garrett was the one who said keep going, who believed when no one else did. Maybe he believed in the company more than the friendship," Victor said quietly. "Or maybe he always planned this," Henry suggested. "Maybe he invested early knowing that someday, when Tesla was valuable enough, he'd take it." The thought made Elon sick. Had their entire friendship been a lie? Had Garrett been planning this from the beginning? Or had something changed? Had success corrupted him? He'd never know, because whatever Garrett said now would be lies. Sienna's phone buzzed. She checked it. Security just texted. Garrett's car just pulled into the parking garage. Everyone tensed. 5 minutes, Ramona said. Elon stood. He walked to the mirror on his wall, looked at his reflection. He looked tired, older. The last 3 hours had aged him, but his eyes were clear, determined. This had to be done. For Tesla, for the mission, for everyone who believed in what they were building. "Positions," Elon said quietly. The 5 executives arranged themselves around the conference table, the evidence laid out like weapons. Elon stood by his desk, in his own office, in his own company, ready to fire the man who'd helped him build it. Footsteps in the hallway, getting closer. Elon's heart pounded. Victor's hands clenched. Henry straightened his tie. Sienna took a deep breath. Julian's jaw set hard. Ramona's eyes never left the door. They were ready. The footsteps stopped outside Elon's door. A pause, then a knock. Friendly, casual. "Elon, you in there?" Garrett's voice, cheerful, like always. Like nothing was wrong, like he wasn't a traitor. Elon didn't answer immediately. He looked at the 5 people who'd worked 72 hours straight to expose the truth, his real family. Then he looked at the door, at the man behind it, the friend who'd become an enemy. "Come in, Garrett," Elon said. His voice was steady, cold, final. The door opened. Garrett Wolfe stepped inside, tall, confident, smiling. He carried 2 cups of coffee from the shop downstairs. "Morning. Brought you coffee. I know you probably..." His voice trailed off. He'd seen the evidence. The laptops, the documents, the 5 executives positioned like a jury. His smile faltered. "What's going on?" Garrett asked. But something flickered in his eyes. Fear, guilt, recognition. He knew. In that instant, he knew they'd found out. "Close the door, Garrett," Elon said quietly. Garrett didn't move. His eyes darted around the room, calculating, looking for exits. "I said close the door." Slowly, Garrett pushed the door shut behind him. The coffee cup shook slightly in his hands. "Elon, whatever you think..." "Sit down. I can explain." "I said sit down." The command echoed through the office. Elon's voice had never been that cold, that hard. Garrett flinched. He set the coffee cups on a side table and sat in the chair across from Elon's desk, like a defendant facing a judge. Ramona slid a folder across the table. It stopped in front of Garrett. "Open it," she said. Garrett looked at the folder. His hand trembled as he reached for it. He opened it. Inside were his emails, his transactions, his sabotage, all of it, every piece of evidence. The color drained from Garrett's face. "Garrett," Elon said, and his voice was like ice, "you're fired." The words hung in the air. Garrett's hands froze on the folder. His face went from pale to red. What? Elon, wait. I don't want to hear it. But you don't understand. This is a mistake. Garrett stood up quickly. The folder fell to the floor. Papers scattered. Someone is setting me up. Elon didn't move, didn't blink. Sit down. Elon, please. We're brothers. You know me. You know I would never. Sit down. The command was like thunder. Garrett sat. Victor leaned forward. We have your emails, Garrett, sent from your account, to Titan Holdings, to investors, to competitors. Those can be faked. Garrett's voice was desperate now. Someone hacked my account. Henry pulled up a screen. These financial transfers all have your approval codes, your digital signature, time-stamped when you were logged into the system. Stolen credentials. It happens all the time. The security footage, Sienna said quietly. She turned a laptop toward him. That's you, entering offices at 2 in the morning, accessing computers, making changes to manufacturing processes. Garrett watched the video. His jaw clenched. I was working late. That doesn't prove anything. It proves you were there, Julian said, at the exact times the design files were altered, from the exact computers that made the changes. Coincidence. 8 months of coincidences? Ramona's voice cut through. Every sabotage event, every financial transfer, every code change, all connected to you, all with your fingerprints, all at times only you had access. Garrett looked around the room, at the 5 executives staring at him, at the evidence piled everywhere, at Elon's cold, hard face. His expression changed. The panic faded. Something else replaced it. Calculation. Okay, Garrett said slowly. Let's say, hypothetically, some of this is true. Let's say I made some investments, some business decisions. That's not illegal. You sabotaged our cars, Elon said. His voice was deadly quiet. You altered brake systems, battery codes, safety features. You put lives at risk. I never put anyone in danger, Garrett said quickly. I was careful. The changes were small, controlled. So you admit it, Victor said. Garrett's eyes widened. He'd been trapped. He just confessed. He stopped, took a breath. His shoulders slumped. The mask fell away. Fine, Garrett said. His voice was different now, harder, colder. You want the truth? Here's the truth. He stood up again. This time, no one stopped him. We built this together, Elon. You and me. 20 years ago. 2 college kids with a dream. Do you remember? I remember, Elon said quietly. We were partners, equals. We were going to change the world together. Garrett's voice rose. But somewhere along the way, it became the Elon Musk show. Everything was about you. Your vision, your genius, your company. That's not true, isn't it? Garrett shouted. Who gets interviewed? Who gets on magazine covers? Who does everyone call the genius who saved the planet? You, always you. I'm just Elon's college buddy. Just the guy who writes the checks. You're head of strategic partnerships, Ramona said. That's not nothing. It's not CEO, Garrett shot back. It's not the face of the company. It's not the legend. He turned back to Elon. I invested everything I had, my savings, my time, my life. I stood by you when everyone said you'd fail, when banks wouldn't give you loans, when we almost went bankrupt 3 times. I was there. I know, Elon said. Do you? Garrett's face was red now, angry, years of resentment pouring out. Because you act like you built this alone, like you're some self-made genius. But you weren't alone. I was there, at the beginning, when it mattered. So this is about ego? Henry asked. About credit? It's about what's fair. Garrett slammed his hand on the desk. I deserve more than a title and a salary. I deserve ownership, real ownership, control. So you tried to steal it, Elon said. I tried to take what was mine. It was never yours, Garrett. Tesla belongs to everyone who believes in the mission. Every employee, every customer, every person who wants a better future. Beautiful speech, Garrett sneered. But that's all it is. a speech. This company is worth billions, and I have less than 1% ownership after everything I invested, after everything I sacrificed. You made those choices freely, Victor said. I made them trusting my brother, Garrett's voice broke. Trusting that you'd remember who was there from the beginning. That loyalty meant something. Elon stood slowly. He walked around his desk, stood face to face with Garrett. You want to talk about loyalty? Elon's voice was quiet, dangerous. You sabotaged our cars. You stole money. You planned to destroy this company and rebuild it under your control. You used our friendship as a weapon because you left me no choice. You had every choice. You could have talked to me, asked for more equity, negotiated, but instead you tried to destroy everything, to hurt thousands of employees, to damage our reputation, to put customers at risk. The brake systems, Garrett, the altered brake systems. Do you know what would have happened if those cars had been built? If families had driven them? If children had been in those cars when the brakes failed? Garrett went quiet. People could have died, Elon continued, all because you wanted revenge, because your ego was hurt, because you couldn't stand that the world sees me as the leader of Tesla. I built this with you, Garrett whispered, and you tried to destroy it without me. They stood there, two former brothers, two former friends, a friendship dying in real time. I'm sorry, Garrett said finally, but he didn't sound sorry. He sounded bitter. I'm sorry you couldn't see how unfair this was, how you pushed me aside, how you forgot who believed in you first. I never forgot, Elon said. I gave you a position, respect, friendship, but that wasn't enough for you. You wanted everything. I wanted what I earned. You earned a criminal record. Garrett's face twisted. You're calling the police. Legal will handle it, but first you're leaving. Right now. Elon pressed a button on his phone. Security to my office. Now. Within 30 seconds, 2 security guards appeared at the door. Escort Mr. Wolf from the building, Elon said. He no longer works here. The guards moved toward Garrett. Elon, please. Garrett's voice changed again. Pleading now. Don't do this. We can fix this. We can talk. We're brothers. Brothers don't betray each other, Elon said. His voice was final, cold. These 5 people, he gestured to Ramona, Victor, Henry, Sienna, and Julian. They're my family. They worked 72 hours straight to protect Tesla, to protect the mission, to protect what we built. He stepped closer to Garrett. You worked 8 months to destroy it. You're not my brother. You're just someone I used to know. The words hit like bullets. Garrett stumbled back. The security guards took his arms gently but firmly. This isn't over, Garrett said as they led him toward the door. I'll sue. I'll fight this. You'll lose, Henry said quietly. We have everything documented. Lawyers are already reviewing it. Garrett looked back one last time. At Elon, at the office, at the company he'd helped create and then tried to steal. We were supposed to change the world together, he said. We did, Elon replied, and now you're trying to destroy it. That's the difference between us. The guards led Garrett out. The door closed behind them. Silence filled the office. Elon stood there, not moving, barely breathing. 20 years of friendship. Gone, just like that. 20 years erased in 10 minutes. Elon stood frozen. The door was closed. Garrett was gone. But the weight of what just happened pressed down on him like a mountain. Elon? Ramona's voice was soft, careful. He didn't respond. Couldn't respond. His oldest friend, his first believer. The man who stood beside him when everyone else said Tesla was impossible. A traitor. You did the right thing, Victor said quietly. Did he? Right now it didn't feel right. It felt like his heart was being ripped out of his chest. He was going to destroy everything, Henry added. You had no choice. Elon knew that was true. Logically, he knew Garrett had to be fired, had to be stopped, had to face consequences for what he'd done. But logic didn't make it hurt less. I need a minute, Elon said. His voice was rough. Alone, please. The 5 executives looked at each other. Are you sure? Ramona asked. Please. They left quietly, one by one. The door clicked shut behind them. Elon was alone in his office, surrounded by evidence of betrayal, papers showing how his best friend had tried to destroy him. He walked to the window, pressed his forehead against the glass. The city below looked the same as it had an hour ago. People going to work, cars moving, life continuing. But everything had changed. Then he remembered. The drawer. The mysterious emails had told him to check the bottom left drawer. He'd found the note about Garrett, but was there more? Elon walked to his desk, pulled open the drawer again. The envelope that had contained the note about Garrett was there, but underneath it, he saw something else. Another envelope, thicker, also sealed. He picked it up, turned it over. On the front, in Ramona's handwriting, "For Elon, read after." After what? He opened it carefully. Inside was a letter. Several pages, handwritten. He sat down and began to read. Dear Elon, if you're reading this, several things have happened. 1. We found the evidence against Garrett. 2. We locked ourselves in your office to compile everything. 3. You waited outside, probably furious with us. 4. We told you the truth. 5. You fired Garrett, or you're about to. I'm writing this at 3 a.m. on Monday morning. Victor, Henry, Sienna, Julian, and I have been working for 48 hours straight. We're exhausted. We're scared. But we're certain. Garrett Wolf is sabotaging Tesla. We know how this sounds. We know you won't want to believe it. He's your oldest friend, your college roommate, your brother. That's why we couldn't just tell you. We needed proof. Overwhelming, undeniable proof. Because we knew you'd defend him. You'd make excuses. You'd say we were wrong. You're loyal, Elon. That's one of the things we love about you. But loyalty can be a weakness when the person you're loyal to is destroying everything you built. So we made a plan. We would lock ourselves in your office Tuesday morning. The only place Garrett couldn't monitor. We'd work until we had every piece of evidence organized. Every document, every email, every transaction. We knew you'd arrive at 6 a.m. like always. We knew you'd find the door locked. We knew you'd be angry. We knew you might fire us. But we decided that was a risk worth taking, because Tesla is bigger than our jobs. The mission is bigger than our careers. The future we're building is bigger than our comfort. I set up the automated emails to send to you this morning. I used a secure account Garrett couldn't trace. I wanted you to know, even if we failed to explain, that we were trying to help, that we were on your side. The note about Garrett, I placed it in your drawer last night, in case something went wrong, in case Garrett found out what we were doing and destroyed evidence, in case we didn't get the chance to tell you everything. Insurance. I'm writing this letter for the same reason. Insurance. In case you fire us before we can explain. In case you don't believe us. In case our plan falls apart. I want you to know the truth. We are not your enemies. We are your family. Victor is here because you gave him freedom to think big when everyone else told him to think small. He owes you everything. He would never betray you. Henry is here because you showed him that making money and saving the planet aren't opposites. His daughter wants to be an engineer because of you. He would never hurt this company. Sienna is here because you saw potential in a factory worker everyone else ignored. You sent her to college. You changed her life. She would die before she let someone destroy Tesla. Julian is here because you told him that beauty matters, that art changes the world. He believes in this mission with his whole heart. And me? I'm here because you gave me hope when I had none. You hired a single mother with gaps in her resume when no one else would. You gave me a chance. You gave me a family, not just this job, but these people, this team, this purpose. We locked you out not because we don't respect you. We locked you out because we respect you too much to let Garrett destroy your dream. We made you wait not because we don't trust you. We made you wait because we needed 9 more minutes to verify the final piece of evidence. The email proving Garrett's plan to take over by spring. We kept secrets not because we're disloyal. We kept secrets because we were protecting you from a truth too painful to hear without proof. I know how it looked. I know what you probably thought while standing in that hallway. But please know this. Every choice we made was about protecting Tesla. Every risk we took was about saving the mission. Every moment we locked you out was a moment we spent fighting for what you built. You taught us that building something great requires sacrifice. You sacrificed time with your family, sleep, comfort, personal relationships, all for Tesla. We learned from you. So when we discovered Garrett's betrayal, we sacrificed too. We sacrificed 3 days of our lives. We sacrificed sleep. We sacrificed your trust. Temporarily, we hoped. Because some things are worth the sacrifice. Tesla isn't just a company, it's a promise. A promise to the future. A promise that we can do better, be better, build better. We couldn't let Garrett break that promise. Whatever happens next, whether you've forgiven us or fired us, please know that working with you has been the honor of our lives. You don't just build companies, Elon. You build people. You see potential others miss. You give chances others won't. You believe in impossible things. You believed in me when no one else did. You believed in all of us. Now we're asking you to believe in us one more time. Trust that we did this for the right reasons. Trust that we're still your family. Trust what you built, not just the company, but the team, the bonds, the loyalty that flows both ways. Garrett forgot something important. Tesla was never about one person. It was never about who gets credit or who's the genius or who's the face of the company. It's about the mission. It's about the future. It's about all of us working together for something bigger than ourselves. That's what you taught us. That's what we fought to protect. With all our loyalty, respect, and love, Ramona P.S., Victor, Henry, Sienna, and Julian all signed below. We wanted you to know we're united, we're together, we're family. Below Ramona's signature were 4 more. Victor's careful, precise writing, Henry's bold, confident strokes, Sienna's neat, practical letters, Julian's artistic, flowing signature, all of them, together. Elon's hands shook as he held the letter, his vision blurred with tears. They'd known. They'd known he might fire them. They'd known he might not believe them. They'd known the risk, and they'd done it anyway. For Tesla, for the mission, for him. He read the letter again, then a 3rd time. Each word hit differently now. After seeing Garrett's betrayal, after firing his oldest friend, after losing someone he'd considered a brother. But he hadn't lost everyone. These 5 people, Ramona, Victor, Henry, Sienna, Julian, they were still here, still fighting, still believing, still family. Elon wiped his eyes, folded the letter carefully, put it in his pocket, not as evidence, not as proof, as a reminder that he'd built something real, not just a company, a family, people who cared about the mission more than themselves, who would sacrifice everything to protect what mattered. Garrett had been wrong about so many things, but he'd been right about one. Tesla was never built alone. It was built by people who believed, and those people were still here. Elon stood up, walked to the door, opened it. The 5 executives were sitting in the hallway, on the floor, backs against the wall, exhausted, waiting. They looked up when the door opened, nervous, uncertain. "Come back in," Elon said quietly. They stood slowly, walked back into the office. No one spoke. Elon closed the door behind them. For a long moment, no one said anything. The silence was heavy, uncomfortable. Then Elon pulled the letter from his pocket, held it up. "I found this, in the drawer." Ramona's face went pale. "Elon, You wrote it 3 days ago, at 3 in the morning, while you were investigating." "Yes." "You knew I might fire you. You planned for it." "Yes," Ramona whispered, "and you did it anyway." She nodded, tears in her eyes. Elon looked at all 5 of them, these people who'd sacrificed everything, who'd risked their careers, who'd protected Tesla even when it meant losing his trust. "I need to say something," he began. They tensed, bracing for whatever came next. "This morning, I stood outside that door for 9 minutes. In those 9 minutes, I forgot everything I believed in." He paused, gathered his thoughts. "I forgot that the best teams aren't the ones who never have conflicts. They're the ones who put the mission above their own comfort." Ramona's eyes widened slightly. I forgot that real loyalty sometimes looks like betrayal from the outside, that doing the right thing isn't always the easy thing. Victor straightened slightly. I forgot that the people worth keeping are the ones who'll do what needs to be done, even when it costs them everything. Henry swallowed hard. I forgot what I built here. Not just a company, but a family of people who care about something bigger than themselves. Sienna's breath caught. And you five, Elon's voice cracked slightly. You reminded me. Julian's eyes glistened. You worked 72 hours straight. You barely slept. You risked your jobs. You risked my friendship. You risked everything. He walked closer to them. And you did it not for glory. Not for recognition. Not even for thanks. You did it because it was right. Because Tesla matters. Because the mission matters. Because protecting what we built mattered more than protecting yourselves. Tears rolled down Ramona's cheeks now. So I need to say this clearly. Thank you. The words hung in the air. Thank you for being braver than I was, for seeing the truth I couldn't see, for doing what I couldn't do. We were just, Victor started. You were just saving my life's work, Elon interrupted. You were just protecting thousands of employees. You were just stopping a man from destroying everything we believe in. Just that. He smiled slightly. Sadly, Garrett and I built Tesla together, or so I thought. But today I learned something. He built it with me because he wanted to own it. You five build it with me because you want to change the world. That's the difference. We're sorry we locked you out, Sienna said softly. We're sorry we made you wait. We're sorry we hurt you. Don't be sorry for doing the right thing, Elon said. Ever. That's what leaders do. They make hard choices. They take risks. They put the mission first. He walked back to his desk, leaned against it. Which is why I'm making some changes, effective immediately. Their faces showed concern. Ramona! Elon looked directly at her. You're now Chief Executive Officer of Tesla, second only to me in authority, and in some decisions, maybe first. Ramona's mouth fell open. What? Elon, I can't. You can. You proved it. You made the hardest decision of your career. You investigated someone I loved. You risked everything to protect this company. That's exactly what a CEO does. But you saw a problem and solved it. You led a team through an impossible situation. You put the company before yourself. Those are the qualities of a CEO. Ramona couldn't speak. She just stared at him. Elon turned to Victor. Victor, I'm doubling your R&D budget. You found sabotage hidden in millions of lines of code. You think big enough, deep enough, smart enough to catch what others miss. I want you thinking about our future. No limits, no restrictions. Build whatever you can dream. Victor's eyes went wide. Doubled? Doubled. Dream bigger. Think impossible. He looked at Henry next. Henry, you tracked money through 6 shell companies. You found needles in financial haystacks. I'm putting you in charge of all internal security. Financial, digital, physical, everything. Make sure this never happens again. Henry stood straighter. I won't let you down. I know you won't. Elon's gaze moved to Sienna. Sienna, you started on a factory floor. Now you run all manufacturing. But that's not enough. I'm making you Executive Vice President of all operations. Every factory, every process, every production line. You understand this company from the ground up. Literally use that knowledge. Sienna's hand covered her mouth. Executive Vice President? You earned it. Finally, Elon looked at Julian. Julian, your designs don't just make our cars beautiful. They make people want to drive them, want to believe in them. I'm giving you complete creative control over every vehicle we make. Every design decision goes through you. Make our cars so beautiful, people can't resist the future. Julian wiped his eyes. I don't know what to say. Say you'll keep making Tesla extraordinary. Always. Elon looked at all 5 of them, his new leadership team, his family. You earned these promotions, not by being perfect, not by never making mistakes, but by being brave, by being loyal, by putting the mission first. He walked to the window, looked out at the city. Garrett wanted credit. He wanted recognition. He wanted to be called a genius. He wanted the world to know he built this. Elon turned back to them. You wanted results. You wanted Tesla to succeed. You wanted the mission to continue. You didn't care who got credit. You just cared that the work got done. That's the difference between employees and family, between partners and mercenaries, between people who build things and people who destroy them. Ramona found her voice. When I was unemployed, desperate, alone, you gave me a chance. You gave all of us chances. Julian stepped forward. You saw potential in people others ignored. You believed in us. Victor added, you built a place where impossible was just another challenge, where dreams became real. Henry's voice was thick. You made us believe we could change the world. Sienna smiled through tears. And we did. We are. Together? Elon felt his own eyes burning. No, you are. I just had the initial dream. You're the ones making it real. Every single day. He walked to the center of the room. They formed a circle around him. Every single day, you prove that building something great isn't about one genius. It's about a team who cares more about the mission than their egos, more about the future than their present, more about what's right than what's easy. Ramona reached out, took his hand. Victor took her other hand. Henry took Victor's. Sienna took Henry's. Julian completed the circle, taking both Sienna's and Elon's hands. They stood there, 6 people, connected, not by contracts or paychecks, but by something deeper. Something that couldn't be broken by betrayal or threatened by sabotage. Purpose, belief, family. Garrett was wrong, Elon said quietly. He thought Tesla was about ownership, about control, about who gets the credit. He squeezed Ramona's hand, Julian's hand. But it's not. It never was. Tesla is about this, about people united by a dream, about family who fights for each other, about a mission that matters more than any one person. That's what changes the world. They stood there in silence, in understanding, in unity. Outside, the sun rose higher, a new day beginning, a new chapter starting. Garrett was gone, but the mission remained, and the people who truly believed in it, who would fight for it, sacrifice for it, protect it, they were still here, stronger than ever. Now, Elon said, finally releasing their hands, let's get to work. We have a future to build. Ramona laughed through her tears. Don't you want to sleep first? We've all been up for days. Sleep? Elon grinned, a real smile, the first genuine smile since he'd arrived that morning. We just saved Tesla from sabotage. We just proved that loyalty and family still matter. We just showed that good people can defeat betrayal. He walked toward the door. Now comes the fun part, showing the world what we can really do when we're united, when we're together, when we're family. They followed him out of the office, past the evidence, past the memories of betrayal, into the hallway where the morning had started with locked doors and broken trust. But that was over now. Ahead was only possibility, and they would face it together. The 6 of them walked down the hallway. Employees were arriving now, more people filling the building, starting their workdays. They stopped and stared as the leadership team passed. Whispers followed. Is that Mr. Musk? Who are all those people with him? They look exhausted. Something happened. Something big. Elon didn't care about the whispers anymore. This morning, standing outside his locked office, the whispers had felt like humiliation. Now they felt different, like proof that something important had happened, that a battle had been fought and won. They reached the elevator, the doors opened, they stepped inside. As the doors closed, shutting out the watching eyes and curious faces, Ramona turned to Elon. What do we tell people? She asked. About Garrett? Elon considered. The truth, that we discovered sabotage, that we investigated, that the person responsible has been terminated and appropriate authorities have been notified. They'll ask questions, Henry said. Let them ask. We have nothing to hide. Garrett made his choices. We made ours. The elevator descended, quiet, reflective. I still can't believe it, Julian said softly, that he would do this after everything. Belief can be dangerous, Victor replied. We believed in Garrett because Elon believed in him. We trusted him because we trusted Elon's judgment. My judgment was wrong, Elon said quietly. About one person, Ramona countered, but you were right about hundreds of others. Thousands. Everyone who works here, who you hired, who you believed in. Most of us deserve that trust. Garrett was the exception, Sienna added, not the rule. The elevator reached the ground floor. The doors opened, but Elon didn't move. Wait, he said. They all turned to look at him. I need to ask you something. Something important. Anything, Ramona said. Why didn't you quit? When you found out about Garrett, when you realized what he was doing, you could have walked away, found jobs elsewhere. Let Tesla deal with its own problems. They looked at each other, silent conversations happening without words. Victor spoke first. Because Tesla isn't just a job, it's proof that impossible things can be real. I spent my whole life being told my ideas were too big. You said they weren't big enough. How could I walk away from that? Henry went next. My daughter writes essays about how her dad saves the planet. She's proud of me. For the first time in my career, I'm proud of me. That's not something you quit. Sienna's voice was soft. I was just a factory worker. Nobody. You saw something in me no one else saw. You changed my entire life. I would never abandon that. Never abandon you. Julian smiled slightly. You told me beauty changes the world. You were right. Every car we design, every curve and line, it makes people want the future we're building. That's art with purpose. That's everything I ever wanted. Finally, Ramona. She looked Elon directly in the eyes. When my husband died, I was drowning. 2 babies, no money, no hope. No one would hire me, but you did. You gave me more than a job. You gave me a reason to keep fighting. You gave my daughters a mother who could smile again, who could dream again. Her voice cracked. You gave me a family, this team, this mission, these people. How could I walk away when someone tried to destroy it? This isn't just your dream anymore, Elon. It's ours too. The elevator doors started to close. Henry hit the button to hold them open. Elon's throat felt tight. His eyes burned. I don't deserve you, he said quietly. Yes, you do, Ramona said firmly. You deserve people who fight for what you built, who believe in what you believe, who won't quit when things get hard. But no buts. You gave us chances. We're giving them back. That's how family works. The 6 of them stood there in the elevator. The doors held open. The world waiting outside. And Elon realized something. Garrett had been right about one thing. Tesla wasn't built by one person, but he'd been wrong about everything else. It wasn't about ownership, wasn't about credit, wasn't about who gets called a genius. It was about this moment, these people, this bond. Thank you, Elon said, for everything, for fighting, for believing, for being brave enough to lock me out of my own office. They laughed, tired, emotional laughter. The kind that comes after a crisis, after a battle won. We'd do it again, Victor said. Please don't, Elon replied with a small smile. They stepped out of the elevator together, into the lobby, into the new day. Employees were everywhere now, working, talking, building the future one day at a time. They didn't know what had happened upstairs. They didn't know about Garrett's betrayal or the 72-hour investigation or the firing. They just knew they worked for a company trying to change the world. And that was enough. I should make an announcement, Elon said, to the whole company about Garrett leaving. Later, Ramona suggested. Right now, let's just get back to work. Show everyone that Tesla is still here, still strong, still building the future. Elon nodded. She was right, as always. They separated then, each heading to their departments, their teams, their work. But before Ramona walked away, she turned back. Elon? Yes? The emails, the mysterious ones telling you to check your drawer. Do you know who sent them? Elon paused. He'd been wondering the same thing. I have a theory, he said slowly, which is, I think it was you. Setting them to send automatically, like the letter, insurance in case things went wrong. Ramona's face was unreadable. Maybe, or maybe it was someone else who wanted to help. Who? She smiled slightly. Does it matter? They helped us? That's what matters. She walked away before he could ask more questions. Elon stood there watching her go, wondering. But she was right. It didn't matter who sent the emails. What mattered was the result. He checked his watch. 8:15 a.m. The morning had started at 6 in. In just over 2 hours, his world had shattered and rebuilt itself. He'd lost a friend, but kept a family. He'd faced betrayal, but found loyalty. He'd stood outside a locked door feeling humiliated, but discovered he'd built something stronger than he'd known. Elon walked back to the elevator, rode it up to his floor, walked down the hallway to his office. The door was open now, no longer locked, no longer keeping secrets. He went inside, looked around at the evidence still scattered everywhere. The papers, the laptops, the whiteboards, proof of betrayal, proof of investigation, proof of family fighting for each other. He'd clean it up later. Right now, he just wanted to stand in his office and think. His eyes fell on the desk drawer, still open, where Ramona's letter had been waiting. He walked over, looked inside. The envelopes were still there, empty now, their messages delivered. But there was one more thing, hidden at the very back of the drawer, something he'd missed earlier, a photograph. He pulled it out carefully. It was old, faded, from the early days of Tesla. The whole team, maybe 20 people total, standing in front of the first factory, smiling, exhausted, covered in grease and hope, and right in the center, Elon and Garrett, arms around each other's shoulders, brothers, back when the dream was new, when friendship was real, when trust was complete. Elon stared at the photo, at the younger version of himself, at Garrett, smiling like he meant it. Had that smile ever been real? Had the friendship ever been genuine? Or had Garrett been planning this from the beginning? He'd never know. And maybe that was okay, because the lesson wasn't about Garrett's betrayal. The lesson was about everyone else's loyalty. Elon put the photo back in the drawer, closed it gently. He pulled Ramona's letter from his pocket, unfolded it, read the last lines again. Trust what you built, not just the company, but the team, the bonds, the loyalty that flows both ways. He folded the letter carefully, placed it back in his pocket, over his heart, not as evidence of what almost went wrong, but as a reminder of what went right. He'd built a company that people would fight for, people who cared about the mission more than their own comfort, people who would risk everything to protect what mattered. That was worth more than any friendship with Garrett had ever been. Elon walked to the window, looked out at the Tesla parking lot. Cars everywhere, electric cars, cars that didn't poison the planet, cars that represented a better future, a future that had almost been stolen, but wasn't, because 5 people had been brave enough to lock a door, smart enough to gather evidence, loyal enough to risk everything. He thought about what Garrett had said. We were supposed to change the world together, and Elon realized they had changed the world together, just not the way Garrett meant. Because changing the world isn't about who gets credit. It's not about ownership or control or being called a genius. It's about building something that outlasts you, something that matters more than any one person, something worth fighting for. Tesla would continue. The mission would continue. The dream would continue. Because it was never about Elon Musk or Garrett Wolf or any single person. It was about what they built together, all of them, the believers, the fighters, the family. And that family was stronger now than ever before, because they'd been tested. They'd faced betrayal and chosen loyalty. They'd faced doubt and chosen trust. They'd faced the easy path of walking away and chosen the hard path of fighting. That's what changes the world. Not genius, not money, not fame. Family, loyalty, purpose. People who care about something bigger than themselves. Elon's phone buzzed. A message from Ramona. Engineering meeting in 20 minutes. New battery design to review. Victor says it's revolutionary. You coming? He smiled. Typed back, on my way. Because that's what they did. They built the future. One meeting at a time, one design at a time, one impossible dream at a time. Together. As Elon walked out of his office, he glanced back one more time at the bottom drawer, at the letter hidden there. at the reminder of what real loyalty looked like. Sometimes loyalty means standing beside someone. Sometimes it means standing in front of them. And sometimes it means locking them out of their own office while you fight to save everything they built. That's not betrayal. That's love. And that, Elon thought as he headed toward the meeting, toward his team, toward the future, is what changes the world. Not dreams alone, but dreams protected by people brave enough to fight for them, even when the fight means making the dreamer wait outside his own door. 6 months later, Elon stood on stage at Tesla's annual shareholder meeting. Thousands of people filled the auditorium. Investors, employees, reporters, people who believed in the mission. Behind him, a massive screen showed Tesla's numbers. Production up 40%, sales up 52%, customer satisfaction at an all-time high. The company was thriving, but that's not what Elon wanted to talk about. 6 months ago, he began, Tesla faced its biggest threat, not from competitors, not from technology challenges, but from betrayal. The room went silent. Everyone knew about Garrett. The story had made headlines. The investigation, the firing, the criminal charges. Someone we trusted tried to destroy what we built, and they almost succeeded. Elon paused, let the words sink in. But they failed, not because I stopped them. I didn't even know what was happening. They failed because 5 people decided the mission mattered more than their comfort. On the screen behind him, photos appeared. Ramona, Victor, Henry, Sienna, and Julian, his leadership team. These 5 people worked 72 hours straight. They gathered evidence. They exposed the truth. They risked everything, including their jobs, to save Tesla. The audience erupted in applause. Loud, long, genuine. Elon waited for it to quiet. I want to tell you what I learned that day. What I learned standing outside my own office, locked out, waiting. He looked directly at the audience. I learned that building something great isn't about being the smartest person in the room. It's about hiring people smarter than you and trusting them to do what's right. More applause. I learned that loyalty isn't blind agreement. Real loyalty sometimes means disagreeing, challenging, even locking your boss out of his office when that's what's needed to protect the mission. Laughter rippled through the crowd. But most importantly, I learned that Tesla was never about me. It was never about any one person. It's about all of us. Everyone in this room, everyone who works here, everyone who drives our cars, everyone who believes in a better future. The screen changed. Now it showed Tesla employees, thousands of faces, people building cars, writing code, designing the future. That's what survived the sabotage, not me, not my vision, but our shared belief that we can do better, that we can build a world where clean energy powers our lives, where technology serves humanity, where impossible is just another challenge to overcome. Elon stepped to the edge of the stage. 6 months ago, I almost fired 5 of the best people I've ever worked with. I stood in that hallway, angry and hurt, ready to destroy the very people who were saving my company. He smiled slightly. I'm glad I waited. I'm glad they were brave enough to lock that door. Because they taught me something I'd forgotten. Trust works both ways. I trusted them with jobs. They trusted me with the truth, even when that truth was painful, even when telling me might cost them everything. The screen showed the new organizational chart. Ramona as CEO, Victor with expanded R&D, Henry leading security, Sienna overseeing operations, Julian controlling design. These 5 people are now running Tesla's day-to-day operations, and we've never been stronger. Why? Because they proved that they'll do whatever it takes to protect this mission, even if that means protecting it from me. The audience laughed and applauded. So today, I'm not here to talk about stock prices or production numbers or quarterly earnings. I'm here to talk about what really matters. The people who fight for what they believe in, who sacrifice for something bigger than themselves, who won't quit even when quitting would be easier. Elon's voice grew stronger. Garrett Wolf tried to steal Tesla. He failed, not because our security was better, not because our systems were stronger, but because the people who really believed in this mission, the people who cared about changing the world more than owning it, They fought back. And they won. The applause was deafening now. People standing, cheering. Elon waited, then raised his hand for quiet. I want to end with this. Tesla will face more challenges, more obstacles, more people who want to see us fail. That's guaranteed. But I'm not worried. You know why? He gestured to the screen, to the faces of his leadership team. Because I've seen what loyalty looks like. I've seen what courage looks like. I've seen what happens when people care about something bigger than themselves. 6 months ago, 5 people locked me out of my office. Best thing that ever happened to me. Because it taught me that the strongest companies aren't built on one person's genius. They're built on families who fight for each other. And we are family. The crowd erupted, standing ovation, lasting minutes. When it finally quieted, Elon's voice was soft, emotional. Thank you. Thank you for believing in this mission. Thank you for supporting these incredible people. Thank you for being part of the family that's changing the world. Now let's get back to work. After the meeting, Elon found his leadership team backstage. Ramona hugged him first. That was beautiful. I meant every word, Elon said. Victor shook his hand. You didn't have to give us credit publicly like that. Yes, I did. The world needs to know who the real heroes are. Henry smiled. You know the press is going to ask a million questions about that morning. Let them ask. We have nothing to hide. Sienna looked emotional. My daughter was in the audience. She heard you say I helped save Tesla. She's so proud. She should be. You did save Tesla. Julian grinned. So locked any more CEOs out of their offices lately? They all laughed. The tension of that morning 6 months ago, finally, truly gone. You know what I realized? Elon said. That morning, standing in that hallway, was the worst and best moment of my life. How? Ramona asked. Worst because I felt betrayed. Thought you were all against me. Almost destroyed the best team I'd ever built. And best? Because I learned what I'd actually built. Not just a company, but people who care enough to fight for it. People who'll risk everything for what's right. People who won't let anyone, not even me, destroy the mission. He looked at each of them. Garrett thought Tesla was about ownership, about control, about being called a genius. He was wrong. Tesla is about this moment, these people, this family. Victor nodded. We couldn't have said it better ourselves. You didn't have to say it, Elon replied. You showed it when you locked that door. They stood there together, 6 people who'd been through hell and come out stronger. Group photo, Julian suggested. For the history books? They gathered close. Someone from the event staff took the picture. 6 people, arms around each other, smiling, united, a family that had been tested and survived. Later, alone in his office, Elon looked at that photo on his phone. Then he pulled out Ramona's letter, the one he'd kept in his desk drawer. He read it one more time. Trust what you built, not just the company, but the team, the bonds, the loyalty that flows both ways. He'd learned that lesson the hard way, standing outside his own office, feeling betrayed, almost destroying everything. But he'd learned it, and Tesla was better for it. His phone buzzed, a message in the leadership group chat. Victor, new battery breakthrough, need everyone's input. Meeting tomorrow at 6 a.m.? Henry, I'll bring coffee. Sienna, I'll bring data. Julian, I'll bring designs. Ramona, I'll bring the donuts. Elon, you good with 6 a.m.? Elon smiled. Typed back, I'll be there. And this time the door stays unlocked. Ramona, promise we won't lock you out again. Elon, even if I need it. Victor, especially if you need it. That's what family does. Elon set his phone down, looked around his office. The evidence of betrayal was long gone, cleaned up, put away. Garrett was facing charges. Justice was being served, but the evidence of loyalty remained. In the letter in his drawer, in the photo on his phone, in the team that showed up every day to build the future, in the family that had been willing to lock him out to save everything he loved. That was the real treasure, not the stock price, not the production numbers, not the headlines or awards, the people, the loyalty, the mission. Elon walked to the window one last time, looked out at the parking lot filled with electric cars. At the future they were building together. Tomorrow at 6 a.m. he'd show up. The door would be unlocked. His team would be there. And together they'd tackle the next impossible challenge. Because that's what families do. They show up. They fight. They believe. Even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. And sometimes when necessary, they lock doors and make you wait outside while they save everything you've ever dreamed of. That's not betrayal, that's love. And love, Elon had learned, is what really changes the world. Not alone, but together, always together. So that's the incredible true story of the morning. Elon Musk almost fired the people who saved his company. A story about loyalty, trust, and what it really means to be family. Now we want to hear from you. Where are you watching from? Drop your country or city in the comments below. We love hearing from our viewers around the world. If this story touched your heart or taught you something about loyalty and courage, please hit that like button. It helps us spread these powerful messages to more people who need to hear them. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. When you subscribe, you're joining a family that believes in spreading kindness, inspiration, and hope. We share stories that matter. Stories that change how we see the world. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being part of this journey. Now click on the video appearing on your screen right now for another amazing story that will inspire you. See you in the next one. Stay kind, stay strong, and remember, sometimes the people who challenge you are the ones who love you most.